Here's my audience, Allie, Peyton, and Jackie. Here is my ID card. Imagine you wake up from surgery in pain. The doctor hands you a bottle of prescription painkillers. You trust that they're safe, and they are, but within weeks, you feel the medication taking control of your body, your mind, and your life. The overprescription and misuse of pain medication have fueled the national drug addiction crisis, and stricter monitoring of post-surgery medication is essential to save lives. Everyone has faced surgery or knows someone who has gone through it. After researching medical reports and hearing stories on the news from families who have been affected by prescription drug addiction, I've learned how addiction forms and how critical it is to manage medications. Today, I'll explain how prescription painkillers can lead to addiction, discuss why this may happen after surgery, and share ways we can monitor and manage the intake of pain medication. Let's begin. So what are prescription painkillers? Prescription painkillers are medications such as oxycodone, morphine, aspirin, fentanyl, and many more that are used to reduce pain. The opioid abuse epidemic is becoming a major problem in public health across the entire world. Although there could be many factors driving the crisis, most point toward pharmaceutical companies influencing patients. This includes, but is not limited to, overprescribing, illegal use of drugs, and highly addictive power. Addiction often leads to death. The Lancet journal says 60 million people struggle with opioid addiction, and more than 100,000 people die every year from overdose. Many of those cases is from fentanyl, a drug that is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin or morphine. There are 6 stages of addiction. 1 is the initial use. This is when they are prescribed the drug. Next is misuse. The American Addiction Center says the World Health Organization defines substance abuse as using a substance in a way that is harmful. Next is tolerance. The American Addiction Center says a condition in which the original dosage or use of the substance no longer produces the same physical or mental effect. So patients begin to take more and more. Next is dependence. The patients become dependent on these drugs and can't live without them. Next is the addiction. They don't realize that they are getting addicted to these drugs and they did not mean to. Next is relapse. Even though it seems hard, it is possible to interrupt the cycle and break the addiction with the right treatment. Now that we understand what prescription painkillers are, let's dive into why this happens. According to Aubrey, Katie Herzog had a back surgery. What happened after the surgery is shocking. She was prescribed a drug after her surgery called Dilaudid. She took the dose for 2 weeks, and she had a follow-up visit with her surgeon. At the visit, she felt super sick. The surgeon explained how it was just some virus going around and that she would be okay. And her internist said the exact same thing. She realized, however, that it was actually withdrawal. Addiction happens because doctors don't monitor the use, and they aren't careful with how much, how strong, and what they are prescribing patients. Doctors here are hearing more stories like Katie Herzog's. Aubrey says we have many clinicians prescribing opioids without understanding of opioid withdrawal symptoms. The drugs become too expensive for the patients, so they buy cheaper drugs and become addicted to those as well. Since drug addiction can be vital, let me give potential solutions. We can use medication adherence. Springer says medication adherence can be defined as the extent to which a person taking medication adheres to a self-administered protocol. Non-adherence refers to failure to take medications as directed. To take control of the addiction, a certain amount of intervention has to be there to control the addiction. Two methods of measuring medication adherence include direct and indirect. Direct is laboratory observation of patients, and indirect is patients tracking the medication use themselves. There are pros and cons to each of these methods, but it could be a very good way to start monitoring medication. It could save someone's life. As we come to an end, let's take a moment to think about what could happen every time a prescription pain pill is handed out after surgery. The misuse of pain medication has created drug addiction, and monitoring post-surgery medication can prevent countless people from falling into addiction. We have looked at how prescription painkillers can lead to addiction, why this happens so easily, and steps patients and even doctors can take to prevent this. The fight against drug addiction starts in the doctor's office. By being informed, being cautious, and proactive, we can protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities from devastating effects of addiction.